this is gonna look here. Kind of trying to make sure I get some people here. Let me get my headphones on. How are you guys doing today? Let's see. I'll wait a little bit here. I hate these earbuds. I need to get some more professional mic. What's up, everybody? We got 3 people on already. Let me get a little bit closer here. I don't know if you want to really get a close-up picture of me. Welcome to the Tuddle Daily Podcast live stream for February 4th, 2021. Yeah, Tuddle with 2 Ds. Philip. I like Philip. I love how you keep doing the callback on that one. I like it a lot. You want to know how I know that some of the people on the Bubba the Love Sponge show are listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast? Because before I got on Seth's bad side, when I would call in, they would always Blitz would make a comment. What's that? Tuddle with 2 Ds? Yeah, of course. Tuddle with 2 Ds. Tuddle. Not a lot of people know this, that started on the Shannon Burke show that was on Radio IO. Before it became Bubba Army Radio, it was the Shannon Burke show on Radio IO. And I got to tell you, it was some of the funnest, most fun radio that I've ever done, doing that show with the Shannon Burke show on Radio IO. It was Shannon Burke, Colin Brady. Man, that bums me out every single time that I think about that. We did some great radio. Do you guys remember the shitting hooker clip that I found that Shannon Burke used to open up with every single day on his show? My God, I had never heard Colin Brady laugh as hard as he did when he saw that or heard that clip. And then you cannot forget about Rick J. So it was Shannon, Colin, myself, and Rick Jaminski. I think he is a father now. But yeah, I had a great time. Rick was a great guy. But anyways, I digress. Welcome to the Tuddle Daily Podcast live stream for February 4th, 2021. Got a lot of stuff that I want to talk about tonight. And if you guys do not know the schedule that I am on this week, I am getting my show done early. Well, today I actually got it out a little bit later because I had a lot of important business meetings today. And it's only good. It's only good things. Because thanks to you guys, everybody that supports what I'm doing on the Tuddle Daily Podcast, you guys spreading the word, because I bring this up. And this is why this content is the most satisfaction that I've gotten from doing any audio content. Because when I've done other stuff, it's because it was great because I had a terrestrial station to be able to plug it on. Now, this has grown all by word of mouth. Now, it also does help that I was on other shows like Bubba the Love Sponge, The Monsters in the Morning, The Phillips File, Drew Garabo, Mike Calta, Ron and Fez. So, yeah, I understand a lot of people are following me because of that, but I didn't have a place to be able to plug it. And it's been growing. I did, if you haven't listened to today's show, I tried something new. If you guys remember Ciroc, Bubba called him Mocha Prince on the show. And he's doing a podcast of his own, and we've been helping out. See, that's the key about doing a podcast. Something that I was able to bring from radio to podcasting is cross promoting with all the other podcasts out there. Really, I mean, working at Clear Channel at the time, now it's iHeartRadio, they did a lot of cross promoting. Also, 1025 The Bone did it as well too. You would cross promote in between all of the time slots, day parts. You got mornings, middays, afternoon drive, nights. And what I did when I first started this podcast was to make friends. I was already friends with Tom and Dan. Not a lot of people realize this. Hell, I was there right when they first started it. I was booking a lot of their guests, doing behind the scenes stuff, being on their show. And they have me on once a month. I will be on their show next Wednesday. Check it out, A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. I got to tell you, it is always fun to be on their show. So I'm doing that one. The guys from Funny to Informing, John and Chris, just search Funny to Informing on Google. Their podcast will show up. I think they made the top 3 in the Orlando Weekly stuff. It's kind of like what Tampa does with Creative Loafing. But then I just got on every other single podcast that I could do to be able to promote it. So that's how I've been trying to get the word of mouth out there. And I got some big things in the works. If you listen to my podcast in any other country, please reach out to me, Tuddle@gmail.com, or leave me a voicemail, 407-270-3044. I'm trying to find dignitaries in all the countries, because the great thing about Podomatic that I use to host my podcast is I can look at all the cities in the United States that people are where they're listening, and then I can check worldwide and look and see what different countries are there. But I want to get dignitaries in as many different countries as I can. See, now you guys are getting bored. Numbers are kind of dropping. But I'm getting into it, guys. I'm just trying to fill you in on what's going on with this content that I'm trying to put out. Really, seriously. Like today, I had a meeting with a close friend that I met from Real Radio 104.1. Scott York. I mean, he had part ownership in the Orlando Predators, had a lot to do with the decision making, and I had a great meeting with him today. And I got to tell you, the direction, his business model that he's trying to go for, it's going to be big. You know, here in the state of Florida, we just got medical marijuana, and there's a lot of older people here in the state of Florida. And when I met with Scott today, I was telling him the story. Back when I was working on the Drew Garabo show, my mom was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. She had cancer. She had to go through chemotherapy, radiation, and she was losing a lot of weight. She was. The doctors were not doing stuff for them. Yeah, only people that just turned 40. That is an ongoing joke. Yes, I'm 41, Vulture. Vulture is my producer. Yes, I am 41. But that's the ongoing joke. Yes, I just turned 40. But back to what I was saying. This was back before medical marijuana, and my mom was just losing weight. She was wasting away. She had no appetite at all. She was throwing up all the time. And I ended up getting her a quarter sack of some pretty good weed. Now, I knew that my parents had smoked weed when they were younger. I think everybody's parents have. And if you're on right now, hey, could you guys help me out? Like I said, talking about word of mouth, if you could share this on your social media. I like to have a lot of people here. And also, guys, any questions that you have, this every single live stream that I do is going to be an AMA. Ask me anything. I think I've already proven to you guys that I will talk about anything and everything in my life. So I brought that sack home to my mom, and she was like, "What is this? What is this?" Because the weed now does not look like any of the weed that our previous generation got. And she tried it. And I got to tell you what, I really, really do think that it was the only thing that saved her life. Because when you're going through that chemotherapy, you got to have that reserve. And there's a lot of older generation here in the state of Florida that just don't know how to go about getting their medical marijuana card. And that's where Scott York comes in, okay? You can go to his website, and it's kind of brilliant. It's FloridaCannabisCoach.com. Now, what Scott's going to do for you here is he is going to walk you through the whole process. He's going to find you a doctor. He's going to get that for you, going to get the script. He's going to help you do that, walk you through the process, because a lot of the older generation really doesn't know how it's done. And then once you get that done, he's going to walk you through going to the dispensary. I know right now, when I talked to him, he wanted to learn about the business. And right now, he is, hold on. What did you think of Anna and Tara's podcast? Did you hear it? I know you like Anna's radio voice, but who cares? No, I did not get a chance to check it out, but I will later today. Listen, I have grown to appreciate the pure genius of Anna Hummel, and she's stepping up to the plate. Like, seriously, you can tell she's hungry. Like, she's wanting to make it. And she's not a co-host. Look, I'll take that back. She is good at what she does. She's very versatile. But in the future, she's not a co-host. Let's just be honest. There's not a lot of FM talk female personalities out there. Most of the big women that are syndicated are like a Delilah. They're playing it safe. They're not opinionated. They're not polarizing. And you got to spin records. So why the industry needs somebody like Anna Hummel? In my opinion, they do. So let me back that up. Let me get back to Scott York. Go to his website, FloridaCannabisCoach.com. So he's going to help you out with the doctor. He's going to walk you through the first time going to a dispensary, because that's also another confusing thing. Because my mom has her medical marijuana card, and she wanted me to go with her. Now, my mom was a little mistaken. She thought that she would be able to pay for whatever she was buying with a debit card. No. That's not happening. They got ATM machines there. You got to go to the ATM machine or whatever. Get your money. But Scott York is going to walk you through that whole process. And he's going to make it easier. And when I was talking to him, you also don't realize that there's other strains, other methods of getting CBD, cannabis, whatever it may be, to help out your ailments. For real. I didn't even know, like, there was, like, all these different strains. If you also want to follow him on Instagram, Florida Cannabis Coach, you can find him there. And I'm going to give out his phone number. I don't want this to sound like an infomercial and stuff, but I'm really, really excited about this because Scott's connected. He really is. And that's the type of guy that you're going to want a part of whatever you're trying to do, to be able to make contacts. But you can also give him a call if you're interested. He gives free consultations, 407-342-1569. Once again, that is 407-342-1569. Check it out. All right. So on today's show, I had Sirach on, and I want to start having some co-hosts on, and I want to talk to you about this. I don't think a lot of my former radio personality friends would want to come on my show. Now, Russ was on my number 100 show that I did. Him and Jana came on. Daniel came on as well too. But I would like to hear from you. You can either email me or send me a voicemail. What radio personalities that I've worked with would you want to hear me interview? Because all right, so number one, let's go down this list. I don't think Bubba would come on my show. It's just not happening. Um, me, I don't know. Yeah, I've already had Daniel on. Tom and Dan would be great. I would love to have Tom and Dan on my show because I think it would help me out with promoting what I'm trying to do. And by the way, since this is a visual thing, I don't think you, I don't, well, maybe you already did realize I am wearing my doctor's coat. And everybody's like, why are you wearing a doctor's coat? If you remember when Lummox and Colton came to Orlando for the 1 year anniversary of Florida Man Radio, I showed up as a doctor, and a lot of people didn't get the gimmick. Well, for one thing, they only had one set of headphones, and I didn't hear Bubba ask what I was doing. But this is an old character that I used to play on the Monsters in the Morning, the evil Dr. Nerdcock. Now, I was new to radio, and it blew my mind that we could say Nerdcock on the radio. But, I mean, if it is the last name, I'm sure there are people out there with the name Nerdcock as their last name. But the reason that the bit ended up happening is that we used to have stunt-offs. And in pure wrestling fashion, we made a leave or a loser leaves the stunt game bet and ended up losing. Ended up losing. And then I came up with the wild idea. Everybody remembers the Midnight Rider. Or what was the character that what was Bret the Hitman Hart's brother's name? Owen. Owen did an alter ego character, and there was another one. I think Hogan actually did a alter ego type bit as well too. So I ended up creating the evil Dr. Nerdcock. And then it just evolved into something else. And this was right when they first started TNA out at Universal. And me and Soul Brother Kevin were still interns, well, part-time on the show. And they wanted to go out and interview these wrestlers. And I went as the evil Dr. Nerdcock, and so Brother Kevin went as the Rowdy Roddy Negro. I mean, he took the Piper gimmick and made it into the Rowdy Roddy Negro. And we went out there, and a lot of the wrestlers worked with us. They worked. But then some of the wrestlers worked completely stiff as fuck. Bam Bam Bigelow. Bam Bam Bigelow broke 3 of Kevin's toes. And then Flair chopped him. So can you imagine like a weeble wobble? Bam Bam just stomped Kevin's feet and then gave him the hardest Flair chop that I ever seen in my life. And Bam Bam was definitely working stiff on that one. So that's why I'm wearing the whole doctor's outfit. That's why I wore it to the gimmick thing. But like I said, I didn't have a chance to be able to explain what I was doing. I don't even know if Bubba and them would have gotten the bit. But they were in Orlando, and I'm sure anybody in Orlando knew who the evil Dr. Nerdcock was. But I would like to hear from you. What radio personalities would you like to hear me interview on the Tuddle Daily Podcast? I can't promise that any of them are going to come on because, like I've mentioned in previous shows, I have burned so many bridges. It's not even funny. So I don't even know. And also, what do they have to gain? I'm doing a podcast. They are on broadcast radio. So what do they have to gain from it? Nothing. They really, really don't. Because I'm gonna ask some really, really great questions. You guys know that I'm not scared at all. I'm gonna ask anything and everything out there. And I gotta tell you, I've talked about this podcast. It has made me a better broadcaster, especially with my interviews. Now I will say my producer Vulture has been doing a great job getting me some guests. Have I had a lot of famous guests? No. But I got to tell you, the people that I have been interviewing have been way far entertaining and real. Oh, dude, you want me to be honest? I did have correspondence with MJ. Not recently. Jim Colbert. Now, I think that I could actually get Jimmy on the show. That's a good one. I'm definitely going to shoot for that one because I would absolutely love to have him on the Tuddle Daily podcast. But I did have some correspondence with MJ, Todd Schnitt. It was early 2020. Hey, what up, Scott York? Scott York. Dude, I appreciate you coming over to the Hobo Fish Camp today. I kind of gave him a little bit of a tour of the place, and he liked it. He really did. It was great catching up with Scott. He's somebody that I've known since I've actually got into radio, and he's always been there. He's always been there for me. Always been one of the nice guys. Because you do get a lot of people that are fake as hell, but Scotty York has always been there. Check out his website, floridacannabiscoach.com. If you want to call him, he offers up free consultations to get you started, answer any of your questions. Give him a call, 407-342-1569, or you can check him out. I had to talk to him today. I told him, you got to get on all the social media. Even though it's not great, I mean, if you're wanting to promote stuff, you got to do it. He's on Instagram, Florida Cannabis Coach. And check it out because we talked about a lot of great ideas that we can do to be able to get the word out there because there's so many great things that cannabis, CBD can do for you. And my guy, Scott York, will be able to do that for you. So there's big things coming up. So, yeah, I talked to MJ because I'll admit to you, I ended up reaching out. Yeah, thanks, Vulture. I ended up reaching out because I did get a message, and I ended up talking to MJ, and it never went any further. And I will say this, I don't want any of you Bubba people to think we did not discuss Bubba at all. We never talked on the phone. It was through DMs on Twitter. But, yeah, nothing. Listen, I've been a dick in the past, but I would never dry snitch on anybody at the BRN when it comes to that stuff. So, but I mean, that would be, guys, you got to be honest. I don't think that I would. Who knows? Like, I'm trying to, like, nobody else wants me right now. I've bounced around. I am the exact definition of a radio nomad. And who knows? Listen, who knows? Like if they offered me a great contract to be able to go work for MJ and whoever I go to, they gotta keep letting me do the podcast that I'm doing. Because I've already built up so much momentum right now that it would be the last almost year would be a waste. So they got to be able to let me do outside content. I don't think that's too much to ask. It's not going to affect my job. I still want to do this because this is like a safety net. This is like a backup plan. I mean, I'm not like killing it. I'm not like making big fat stacks like people. See, that's the other thing. When I've been noticing this lately because I hate going back and listening to my voice, but sometimes I'll go back because somebody the other day when I did a live stream was talking about that I interrupt people, that I interrupt during interviews and going back and listening. Yeah, I do it. I do it. And my producer's been telling me that as well too, and I should have listened to him. But I got to jump in, got to go fast acting radio. And I guess that is a little bit of a byproduct of working with Bubba. You got to be quick. That's the other thing. Bubba's talked about this a lot. You know, I have never worked with a radio show that you couldn't see the host. You know, there were so many cast members on the Monsters. That is where you came from. As a cast member, you had to interject fast. Oh, that's the other thing with the Monsters. Like we had so many people on that show at one time. Russ had to basically tell us to raise our hands because everybody was trying to get that joke. Everybody was so quick. Yes, exactly. But I'm getting better at it, Scott. I really am. And I've been basically doing the show by myself. And what up, McDave? Uh, that's why I had Ciroc on today because I want to start trying out co-host. There's another one that I want on my show, and I want to try her out as a co-host as well too. Is Christina Fitzgibbons? I don't know if you've been listening to the show. I had a conversation with her the other day, and I did that DNA test because she's doing a background DNA test on me, and she's trying to do a workup. And I told her because when you do those tests, they give you like a serial number on the little vial that you have to spit in. All your podcasts have been cool lately. Doing great, Tuddle. Thank you, McDave. And I want to try her out because she's a natural on there. She's also hot, in my opinion, great personality, and that's exactly what you want. And she can take jokes. She can bust balls. That's why you don't see a lot of women make it in FM talk radio because they get their feelings hurt. And I'm not trying to be chauvinist or sexist, but it's the truth. It really is. And that's why Anna Hummel is so good and fits in with the show because she can take a joke. I don't understand why people can't understand that. Wish you could do a show 5 to 7 or 6 to 8, etc. All right, Philip, make it happen. And I'm not going to like recycle any of the content. Yeah, you did say, yeah, you're right. I am the interrupter. What up, T-Bone? But back to your question, yeah. I would do that in a heartbeat. I would. If Bubba, and it would not be a recycled show. I would do exclusive content for Bubba Army Radio. Just let me plug the podcast. What do you seriously, guys? Think about this. What does Bubba have to lose? I can give you polarizing, great content that people will love. I'll give you 2 hours exclusive a week. I don't need to get anything. Just let me plug the podcast. I mean, if you guys want to make that happen, call into Bubba's show. Email him. Tweet him on Facebook. Whenever he does a YouTube live, hey, Tuddle said he will give you a 2-hour exclusive show. He just wants to promote his podcast. And I'll do it. What up, Timothy? And I'll do it. And also, Anthony, how are you, man? Also, what I will also promise, if they're worried that I'm going to come in and try to stir shit up, create havoc, I'm not going to do that. I will come in, I will do a show, and I won't talk. Yeah, it is the lab coat from the evil Dr. Nerdcock. But I won't even talk. I will not nobody on the big show or at the BRN, I won't discuss them unless they want me to promote something. Yeah, dude, I feel healthy as hell. I wish it wasn't so cold. Maybe I will do a live stream shirtless. Maybe I'll work out right before it so I can get a little pumped up or something. It's just too cold right now. But yes, I'm wearing my evil Dr. Nerdcock lab coat. But yeah, let's make that happen. I seriously think it's gonna happen? No. I do not think that Bubba and that's the other thing. I don't even have to do it there. I can do it all from here. I will do that show for them. And that's it. They don't even have to see me. Right now, how much do I weigh? That's a great question. I before I started pitting on muscle, I was down to 164. And now I am up to almost 178 right now at 6 foot tall. And I was freaking out. My producer, who was a Marine, I guess you're always a Marine. He told me, he was like, "Yeah, the reason you're gaining weight is because of the muscle," and that's exactly it. I said, "It's got to be it because I don't look any heavier." And look, I got a lot of work to go on that. I do. So got a little bit of softness below my belly button, but I do have abs now, and I got some arms. I'll have to do it. I have to. I gotta wait until because I've never been a very vain person, and I know. I talked to Sirach about this today when he was on, and I gotta tell you, me and Sirach have great chemistry together. I think it was one of my longest shows that I've ever done, and I think it was almost an hour and a half. 6'3", 245. You are rugged as fuck, T-Bone. You got my back. If I got problems, I'll give you a call, T-Bone, because that's pretty goddamn intimidating. But I talked to him about this today, and I've been posting some pictures shirtless, and I feel like a complete douchebag whenever I do that. And it's not like I'm trying to like show off or anything. It's just I'm proud of it. You got to realize before I started working out, eating healthy, trying to be healthy with my body, I just didn't give a fuck. From 2014 until the end of 2019, I didn't start taking care of myself. Now, you also got to realize from 2003 until 2014, I didn't have a drop of alcohol. No drugs, no alcohol. And I guess when I got divorced, I went kind of crazy. I was like, fuck it. I ain't married anymore. I can do whatever the hell I want to do. I took it too far. I did. Next thing I know, I was never obese, but I was very unhealthy looking. I was. And now I feel amazing. And it's pretty much all natural. I smoke some weed. Yes, I do. That's the other thing that really bothers me is when people want to call me out that, oh, you're not sober. You're not sober. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not sober? I'm not taking pills anymore. I'm not drinking. Not doing any illegal drugs at all. And just smoking a little bit of weed. People want to call me out and say, "Oh, you're not sober." I don't feel that way. I mean, technically they're correct, but the weed is just so much better for you. And I don't want you to think like I'm a stoner or anything because I'm not. A little bit of microdosing. The other thing that people have been like recommending for me is microdosing mushrooms. And I've always been scared of that. I really have. It was hard, McDave. The first 2 weeks was all physical. It was all physical, like the physical addiction and withdrawals were there. After that, it all came down to boredom, being bored because when I was just sitting around, that's all I was doing. I was drinking. That's why you remember for the time Bubba and they were messing with me about playing Minecraft all the time. That's key. Finding some mindless thing to keep you busy, so you don't want to have that drink. If you guys are an alcoholic and you're drinking and you're wanting to try to quit, I'll share a video with you. I wish I could put up links, but Dick Van Dyke was on the Dick Cavett show. And do yourself a favor. Somebody has archived all the interviews that Dick Cavett did back in the day. I don't even know if he's still alive, but the guy was ahead of his time. And he had Dick Van Dyke on. And who knew? Dick Van Dyke was the biggest raging alcoholic that you would have ever known. And who knew that? Like, I would have never thought that. And he broke it down. He really does. Sorry, I just ate food from Camelot, and I'm kind of regurgitating some of that right now. But he explained it. Why like-minded people, especially people with addictions, why they end up or being attracted to each other. And an alcoholic, they know that they have a problem, but your brain plays so many tricks on you. And I'm not making excuses. I know a lot of people look down on people that can work B1. Yeah, I mean, work can be definitely an addiction, in my opinion. But what ends up happening is your brain plays tricks on you, and that's why other alcoholics hang out with other alcoholics. Because guess what? Those other alcoholics are not going to judge you. That's why meth heads hang out with meth heads. That's why heroin users hang out with heroin users. Because you're not going to be judged by those people. Do you like hanging out with those people? No. But your brain is like, all right, who can we hang out with? Who can we hang out with that's not going to judge us? Who's not going to say, oh, you shouldn't stick that needle in your arm, or you shouldn't smoke that crack rock? Other like-minded people. And you can't help it because your brain is fucking with you. Your brain's trolling you. It is. And alcoholism is one of those withdrawals. I'm pretty sure all withdrawals can kill you. But they say getting off of the benzos and the alcohol, the withdrawals can absolutely fuck you up big time. It can kill you. When I was an iron worker, hold on. When I was an iron worker, welding, yes, this nerd was an iron worker. I worked with Florida Atlantic Ironworks. My dad was the manager. I was about to say something else. But what I'm trying to say is on the doors, and we had to cover those up when we went to schools. On the doors, it said Florida Atlantic Ironworks, and then it had like a crane hanging an iron bar. That if I didn't smoke weed, I don't know what would happen. Yeah, exactly. But on the bottom of our work trucks, it said, we are proud of our erections. Well, it's a play on words. A steel erector is an ironworker. But I was working this job, and these two experienced older guys. This is the craziest thing about them. They would be shaky before lunch, like they couldn't weld a straight line because they were shaking. And then it dawned on me: these motherfuckers have the straightest welds after lunch. And then I put two and two together. I was like, oh, I get it now. They were hammering beers at lunchtime, and that's why they were welding straight. Think about that. They were shaking their ass off like they were Michael J. Fox trying to weld down deck, and then after lunch, they were perfectly fine. Now, that is not even the craziest thing about those two. They welded without helmets on. Do you realize how bright the strike of a welding rod is? Have you ever had your eyes burned like that? And it's not fun. Because what happens is your eyes start itching because you're getting blisters on your eyeball, and then you rub it. Then when you rub that, you bust open those blisters, and then you're in real trouble. These guys did not weld with helmets on, and they would look at them. The only thing that they would do is, I guess they would get like the strongest proof. I don't even sunblock. Basically it cancels out all the sun, and they would slather their face. Because a lot of people don't realize this: when you weld, that thing is so bright that it will actually burn your skin. Happens to a lot of people. But that's also the other question I have. I've been seeing these commercials as of late where like they have schools to teach people how to weld. And why can you watch somebody weld on TV, but they tell you not to look at it in real life? I mean, I get the concept, but it was like one of those things. It was like, all right, so I'm looking at somebody welding. It's not hurting my eyes. So I guess you lose something in the transfer. All right, I'm going to get off of welding talk because my numbers have dropped, and I'm not going to be on very long. A lot of big things coming up on tomorrow's show. I got a great interview with a guy named Bing out of Sydney, Australia. And I've been trying to interview people from all these other countries. So far, let me think about this, okay? I actually interviewed a real Afghani from Afghanistan. He was calling from Afghanistan. If you go back, I gotta find out what episode that was. But that episode was like the longest episode that I had to edit because I had to disguise the guy's voice. Because if they found out that he was talking to some American, it would not be good for him, his family, any of his friends. And that was a great interview. Like Amy Sinha on Today's Show. She's not the Today Show, my show, Today's Tuddle Daily Podcast. She's in Wales. How did I get the Afghan on? Well, I got a great producer, Vulture, that was able to make that happen. And then, Vulture, if you're listening right now, can you maybe throw up some of the other places of people that I've interviewed? I've definitely interviewed people in the UK, Great Britain. Nigeria. Kelvin. I forgot about Kelvin. Kelvin is one of the smartest guys. New Zealand. I've interviewed somebody from New Zealand. But Canada, Nigeria. But Kelvin is one of the smartest guys that I have ever had on my show. And it was just interesting to hear from him because Nigeria was actually having a lot of problems like we're having in the United States. I'm sure Nigeria's problems were a little bit worse. But we talk all the time. And that's one of the greatest things about this podcast is that I've met so many interesting people. And I try to have an interaction with every Oman. Yeah, somebody from Oman. I mean, I've been interviewing all over the place. Like I said, I am blown away from where all the people listen to. Palestine, a Palestinian. Yeah, I did interview a Palestinian. Um, the biggest country that I'm shocked that listens to me is Ghana. Somebody in Ghana, motherfucking Ghana. Like what is that about? And I'm just some guy in Volusia County, Florida, that they're talking to. You know, a lot of the terrestrial people look down on podcasting, but I got to tell you right now, I'm having a great time. Oh, I have to check into that. I definitely will, Roxana. But I'm going to wrap this up real soon. I'm not trying to give you a final thought a la Jerry Springer style, but I'm busting my ass here, people. Oh, T-Bone, if you're going to be down here during Bike Week, email me. We'll hook up and hang out. But if you guys listen, I try to write every single person back that emails me. I'm trying to make that connection. It's not that I'm doing it because I have ulterior motives. It's just I'm so appreciative of every single one of you people. That's why I call you guys supporters. Not fans, not listeners, you're supporters. Because without you, I am absolutely nothing. Word of mouth has been humongous for what I'm doing. I mean, just listen to my show. I'm up to 4 full-time sponsors right now. I'm excited about working with Scott York. I talked about him earlier in the show. I got all these other people that are wanting to do business and be a part of what I'm doing. And I don't think you realize how much that makes me very proud. It does. You know, I've been on a lot of big shows. I've been very, very fortunate. This podcast has gotten me back to my roots of broadcasting. Towards the end there, yeah, oh man, I got lazy. I'm not that person anymore. After what I went through right at the end, whenever I got off of Bubba's show, it was an eye-opening experience. It was. I could have let that stop me, but it hasn't. And I'm not going to let it. Right now, I am the most focused that I have ever been. I take pride in what I do. I'm having to do the things that I did when I first started in radio. Why is that? Why is that, people? When you first start a journey and you're learning, you get into a new trade. That's always the best part. Everybody wants to go for those goals. Everybody wants to get to the finish line. Well, not the finish. Finish line is death. But what I'm trying to say is people want to be able to survive. People want to be able to make a living. But that journey, all the new people, new experiences that you make, that is it. And that's why I love this podcast. That's why I did it for 4 months straight without missing a goddamn day. And I'm not trying to S my own D on that because I loved what I was doing. Trying to build an audience. You guys, I owe it to you because you're telling people. So I'm going to stop with my final moment, final thought. Check out the Tuddle Daily Podcast. It's available. Tell your friends, tell your family, loved ones, neighbors. Help it grow. Tell at least one person. Give it a shot. Sometimes listening to train wrecks is entertaining. So who knows? I really don't care why you listen to the show. If you think it's a train wreck and that's why you're watching or listening, good for you. Thank you. Welcome. I appreciate it. But tell as many people, subscribe. I'm trying to get the YouTube channel to grow, which it has. My numbers, since I've been doing these live streams, have been ridiculous. So thank you. All right, that's about it. I'm horrible at goodbyes or endings. So I will bid you